Hey friends, welcome back to the Happy Family Coach podcast. I'm Danielle. I'm your host, but I'm also your biblical counselor, family coach, and your biggest cheerleader as we break generational chains and build legacies that are rooted in truth. Today, we are diving deep into Psalm 105, verse 4. It's a simple yet powerful verse that actually rocked me this week. It says, "Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always." Now, that might sound beautiful, poetic, maybe even inspiring. But if I'm being honest, I had to stop and ask myself, what does it really mean to seek God's face? Not just in church, not just when life is hard, but always. And then if I'm really honest with y'all, I've spent seasons in my life where I thought I was seeking him, thought I was seeking his face, but really I was just seeking what he could do for me. Ouch. Anyone else feel that? Anybody else relate? So today we're breaking it all down. We're going to look at what does it mean to seek God's face and not just his hand. How do we do this practically in the chaos of everyday real life? And what shifts in our lives when we actually commit to this pursuit? So, get comfy, grab your coffee, or take me on your walk because this one is going to challenge and encourage you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Happy Family Coach podcast, your guide to rewriting the story of your family's legacy. I'm Danielle Alvarez-Greer, here to help you navigate the twists and turns of family life, faith, and personal growth. Get ready for practical tools, spiritual insights, and heartfelt conversations to transform your family dynamic. Welcome to the Happy Family Coach podcast, where real-life challenges meet real solutions. Okay, first things first. We need to talk about the difference between seeking God's face and seeking his hand. So let's just be real. We live in a culture that chases blessings, not the blesser. Even in our faith, we can fall into this trap. Seeking God's hand means we come to him when we need something. We need a breakthrough, we need a miracle, we need an answered prayer. Seeking God's face means we come to him simply because we desire to be in his presence. It's about relationship, not transactions. Let me put it this way. Imagine a child who only talks to their parent when they need money, gas, or help. That's not a real relationship, right? But isn't that how we sometimes treat God? Listen, I've been there. I've walked through seasons where I begged God to fix a situation, where I pleaded with him to remove my pain, to just do something. And you know what? God's so amazing. He's so kind. He listens. He moves. But he's also after something so much deeper. He wants us. He wants us. He wants you. He wants me, not just our wish lists. Psalm 27 verse 8 says, "You have said, 'Seek my face.' My heart says to you, 'Your face, Lord, do I seek.'" That's the heart posture that I want to live with. That's the heart posture I want to encourage you to live with. So here's my first challenge for you in this episode. I want you to ask yourself, honestly, am I seeking his face or just what he can do for me? All right, let's get practical. You all know I love practical real life application. Seeking God's face isn't just a church thing. It's a lifestyle thing. And here's how we cultivate this every single day. Number one, here's some practical steps. Number one, make time for real, intentional prayer. not the quick, rushed, checking off my list, God help me with this day kind of prayer. I mean actual time with God, talking, listening, waiting in His presence. And how we do this is we set aside time. It doesn't have to be an hour. If you have an hour, that's great. Sometimes I have an hour. Sometimes I have 15 minutes. Sometimes I have 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour, okay? But it does have to be unrushed. You don't want to rush through it. Pray out loud or journal or sit in silence. Whatever helps you focus on Him. Number 2, worship beyond Sundays. Worship isn't just music. It's acknowledging God in everything. Thank Him when you see a sunrise or a beautiful sunset or snow or rain. Worship when you're folding laundry. Worship while you're cooking dinner, preparing a meal for your family or for yourself. Talk to Him while you're driving. Worship is something that shifts our focus from our problems to His presence. Number 3, stay in His Word. You cannot know His face if you don't know His voice. His Word reveals who He is. And this is how we do this. It's how we stay in His Word. Read Scripture, not just to check a box, but to actually hear from Him. Maybe your staying in His Word looks like simply meditating on a verse throughout your entire day. Write it on a Post-it note, keep it in your purse, put it on your wallet, stick it on your car dash or your office desk or your kitchen or your bathroom mirror. Just meditate on a verse throughout your day. Number 4, obey what He's already told you. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, we're waiting for a fresh word when we haven't obeyed the last thing He told us. Seeking His face means living in alignment with His truth. Number 5, invite Him into everything, not just the big spiritual moments. I'm talking about everything. Before you send that text, before you walk into that meeting, before you react to your spouse or kids, before you write that email, a simple, God, be with me in this. That right there is seeking His face. Okay, now that we've gotten through some practical tips, when we actually seek God's face daily, here's what happens. These are some changes that you can expect when you begin to live this way. Okay? Number 1, we stop striving and start abiding. Seeking His face reminds us He is the source of our strength. We stop relying on our own power and lean into His presence. Number 2, we experience peace in chaos. Life doesn't magically get easier, but our perspective shifts dramatically. When you're constantly aware of His presence, it's really amazing. It's crazy, but fear begins to lose its grip. Number 3, we recognize and hear His voice more clearly. When we are in constant fellowship with Him, we discern His leading in everyday life. Number 4, we live with more joy and gratitude. And instead of focusing on what we lack, we start seeing how present God actually is in our everyday lives. Okay, friends, I don't know about you, but I certainly want to live this way, and not just occasionally, but always. And Psalm 105, verse 4, doesn't say, seek Him when life is falling apart. It says, seek His face always. So this is a really short episode, I realize, just a quick check-in with you all. So I'm going to leave you with your challenge for this week. I want you to carve out intentional time with God. No agenda, no requests, just sit with Him. Throughout your day, I want you to pause and acknowledge His presence. Before making any decisions and before reacting, I want you to just try to invite Him in. And then I want you to read Psalm 27, verse 8, and make it your prayer every day this week. I want us, this is the challenge, is let's be a people who seek His face, not just His hand. And listen, if this episode spoke to you, please let me know. I want you to share it with a friend or share my post about it on your Instagram page. Don't forget to tag me at The Happy Family Coach, or you can shoot me a direct message, DM me. And if you're wanting to go deeper in your faith, you want to grow closer and strengthen your family, break some generational chains, or join me for a healing journey, I'd love to connect. Check the show notes for this episode for links to book a biblical counseling or family coaching session with me, to find out more or purchase the Happy Kid Toolkit. And you can also learn more and join our free Facebook community. All right, friends, that's it for today. I'm praying for you. Go seek His face this week, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys.